applause, man. Round of applause, round of applause. Good evening, good night, good afternoon, and good morning. Don't worry about the order of how I said that. Don't worry about the order I said that. You are now in the gym with Jim. I am your lovely host, hopefully lovely host, Jim. To my right, my kuya, my dog, Trizzy. How are you doing today, sir?
Yes, sir. We're doing well. We got a special person in the building this evening.
We got a very, very special person in the building. I used to know him by a different name, but now it's Just Rich. My boy Just Rich, how are you today, sir? Shout out Just Rich, man.
Appreciate you guys for having me, bro. Yes, it is Just Rich, bro. I'm reading into that very shortly, bro. Appreciate you guys for having me, man.
No, man, we appreciate you for coming up on the pod. Richard is someone I've known for a very long time. Similar to a lot of my friends through the sporting world. But we built the connection outside the sporting world, yes, which, sir, I would consider a real friend in the real life. So salute to that. Rich, we're very happy to have you on the show. Before we start, we always do a check-in. And today we start with our guest. So Rich, Mr. Just Rich, how are you?
I'm stellar. I'm ecstatic. I am very energetic right now, man. Happy to be here, man. So yeah, I'm good. I'm chilling.
No, good. Kuya, Trizzy?
Yo, I'm doing well, actually. Prior to this, you guys don't know, actually Jimmy knows, but I was at Taste of Little Italy, which is on College. What I like about Toronto in the summer is because there's a lot of things to do. I like to be outside.
Fair. What kind of outside?
Like seeing vendors, trying different foods. But doing well. Overall, the energy's high, similar to Rich. Energy's high. Feeling good, man. How about you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Like I said on previous pods, I am attempting to do this running stuff, man. I don't know how long we do this running stuff for, but I'm attempting to do the running stuff. This morning I ran a 5K under 35 minutes. And I want to keep that pace going. So I'm good. We are good. I'm happy to be here. Rich, yes, this is your episode, man. Episode 21 is yours.
2-1, the big 2-1.
Episode 21 is yours, man.
Again.
21 Rich, man.
21 Rich.
21 Rich.
Don't forget Savage, man.
21 Rich. Rich, listen, I would love for you to give us a short bio, about who you are, your upbringing, and then we'll just have a few questions, and then we'll kind of go into from there. But tell the people who, might as well you from Instagram or social or whatever, tell them who you really are. Give them like a brief bio.
For me, I'm just a regular kid, man. Just grew up in Jane Finch for most of my life. Very humble kid at times. Just trying to find a way to just make it day by day, honestly speaking. Growing up, I went to school at St. Charles Garnier. That's where I found myself growing. I just found myself as a young kid at that school. I would say grade 5 to 8. Went to Charmant, that's all boys school. So a lot of people, they think like, oh, all boys school, that's crazy.
That sounds kind of crazy.
You know what I mean? 4 years is crazy though.
That sounds kind of crazy.
I did 4 years, graduated. Thankfully, obviously, a lot of people don't graduate. Grew up in Jane Finch. Okay. That's where most of my childhood was from. So just that Jane Finch community. So I'm a West End baby, bro.
West End.
Yes,
Okay.
That's pretty much it about me. Yeah.
And then after high school, did you pursue secondary or?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I ended up doing police foundation. Well, before I graduated I actually graduated high school.
Yeah.
And then I did take a 5th year.
Okay.
So I took extra courses like physics, and man, that was hard. So I did physics, upgraded some mathematical courses and things like that.
Yeah.
Not my strongest subject at all whatsoever, but I ended up still passing.
Amen.
And went to Humber College. School of Community Justice program. It was police foundations. It was a 2-year program. At that time, growing up, I was like, man, I want to make a change in the community. So ended up doing police foundation. I thought I was going to become a police officer. I just continued to pursue that. Did 2 years. I did struggle. I'm not gonna lie to you. Everything else I did great, but the psychological part of that program was crazy. So I failed psychology once. Did summer school. I failed that.
Really?
Yeah. And then I did it again, and I ended up passing. So I don't know. I just looked at psychology, and it seemed to be really, really hard. I'm like, damn. But I ended up just getting over it. So I finished that, and then it just became, trying to chase my career that I wanted to chase, which was policing, which I wanted to get into. Which I'll get into later on, but there's a reason why I couldn't get into that policing, I feel like, and I kind of stopped, was for medical reasons, and I'll dive into that a little bit later. So
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
No, you know what?
That's it.
I first of all, thank you for sharing
For sure.
all of that. you did mention that you want to make a change in the community. What were some of the like reasons, or like what were some of the things that you saw that you were like, oh, I want to make sure I can be the change that I see, so no one has to see what I. If there's something as extreme as that, but maybe something you saw something you're like, oh, I want to make sure this doesn't happen to the next kid, the next Rich, or the next whomever. Was there anything like that sticks out to you?
Honestly, the biggest change was the one thing that happened to my life. And honestly, I want to say traumatic, but it's very like eye opening. And I know a lot of people sometimes they exaggerate when they say, "Yeah, I grew up in a rough neighborhood, things like that." Unfortunately, Jane Finch was one of those communities, right, where it was rough growing up. You know what I mean? And to everybody, rough may seem a different thing to everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My rough might not be your type of rough.
Yeah.
It might be your type of rough. You know what I mean? But the way I experienced it was just coming up and then just having police officers just misjudging you and things like that. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like I had one police officer where I was coming from church with one of my boys at the time. And we're walking all the way from Jane and Shoreham all the way to Jane and Stone. I went home, left, and was going to York Gate Mall. These cops were following us. At the time, it was something called Tavis. So everybody knows Tavis back in the day. Like those guys just strictly just focused on just, I want to say targeting, but they were just in the community and just, like very aggressive.
Sorry, I mean you can say targeting, brother. I think anyone who grew up in those areas, it felt like target. I think targeting might be the right word.
You know what? I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything at all. Targeting. That's what it is, straight up. And it was just crazy because like you're following us from church, and then we're going home, and then we're leaving and we're going to York Gate Mall. So I remember jaywalking, and I know jaywalking at the time wasn't really a big deal. It never is a big deal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's illegal, but like it really is a big deal. So I remember jaywalking, and the cops, undercover van, pulled us over. Yeah, you two, stop. Where are you going? Like, oh, what's going on? Hands up on the wall. I'm like, what? So I was getting frisked, searched.
How old are you?
At that time, I probably was like 21. Yeah, 21, getting frisked in church.
Yeah.
So like that alone, I was like, damn, like, this is really what these guys be talking about in movies. And like, the only thing I think is like Canada, like we're not like anywhere close to the States. So, but to get frisked like that, I was like, that's crazy, man. Like, you know nothing about me. All you know is Jane Finch, and then you see all these black kids and then minority kids, and it's like you assume the worst out of everybody in that community. So I was like, you know what? Let me just make a change or whatever, right? And at that time, I just finished. I think I was in my second year of college, or probably I just finished. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, you know what? Let me just be more aggressive, trying to get into policing. Because at that time, I was just coasting.
Yeah.
There was nothing to do after high school. Like, there's not a program that like really interested me where like I'm gonna graduate, I'm gonna do something. You know what I mean? And then just continue to pursue that, whatever career that may be. So I think let me just get into policing. And there's only one person at that time in 31 Division that I really rocked with. Like, they'll treat you like a human. And that was Sergeant Hicks. You know what I mean? If you ask anybody in that Driftwood neighborhood or Shoreham neighborhood, you ask about Sergeant Hicks, he's that guy that really treated everybody like a person. Or everybody else was just like, yeah, you get on the wall and you do this, blah, blah, blah. It's just, and that's what kind of just really made me like, you know what? Let me try to see if I can make a difference in the community in any way possible. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
No, go ahead.
I have a question, Rich. Like, obviously, like living. This might be an interesting question for you actually, because growing up at Jane and Finch, like, there's a stigma around it, right? Does growing up in that area, amongst your peers, especially, and in your neighborhood, your community, were you ever judged after your decision to choose police foundations?
It's a good question.
That is a good question. And you know what? I didn't tell anybody else in the police foundation. Wow. I kept that to myself. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like I was scared of like what anybody else might do. Mm-hmm. But it was more so like, you know what I mean? Like, I got people I rock with in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I have that respect. They have my respect. And I didn't want to lose that respect. So there was a part of me that was like, yeah, I don't want to lose that respect. You know what I mean? Telling someone I'm about to become a boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's like,
it's a real thing. It's a
100%,
real thing.
yeah. So it was like, let me just keep this to myself. And then when I get in, then it's like, okay, let me show people like, you know what? Policing could be different. Maybe there actually is such thing as community policing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not just policing the community. You see what I'm saying? So,
facts.
Wow, that's a bar.
100%, bro. So like, it's just a matter of like, I want to get my foot in the door. And if I can get my foot in the door, then I can make that everyone else can see police as a whole different, with a different aspect, right? So, yeah.
No, I think I have more questions, but I think that's the toughest part. Like for people who really want to make a change and they felt like making a change through policing was probably the best way to step forward during our time. Because Rich, you're how old again?
34.
Okay, so we're the same age. So during that time, government ends, it was almost impossible to go to the man and be like, hey, I'm gonna be the boy that I'll make a change. Because they don't hear past I'm gonna be one of the boy. Like you don't hear anything else.
Yeah.
Because as a youth, you're growing up and you're going through like being stopped here, the feds are always here, they're chasing us on ATVs and you know what I'm saying? Like they're doing all these weird stuff to make it uncomfortable for you to try to move. But schools is like, we're gonna bring police to the school to make it comfortable for you, but it never actually gets comfortable because outside the school, once these teachers leave, these guys are back to exactly who they are to us. Mm-hmm. So for us to be like, no, we're gonna be the change. So now I'm gonna go do the program to make the change. Man, they're like, bro, you can't change that. Because yes, there's Sergeant Hicks, but under him the detective so and so and so and so and so and so are doing the same thing. So Hicks is not there, then what happens to the rest of them? You see what I'm saying? So I guess the tough part.
And also, like I think too, like it's a very interesting decision because as in your community growing up, I think you develop resentment first. You develop resentment first, and then it becomes a deep-seated hate of, these guys have nothing better to do than bother me. I just came home from church.
Yeah.
So I think I'd like to ask, like, knowing that is the first emotional like behavior of developing a resentment towards authority. How did you get past like that barrier of, listen, I'm bigger than my emotion, like this is so much bigger than I am, and I know that I'm capable of actually making a change despite my current situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Honestly, it just comes with growing and just trying to mature as you grow up, right? And the biggest thing, I know it sounds cliche, but it's like it's your friend circle. Yeah. Right? So everybody has a different type of friend circle. So for me, I had like 3-4 different types of friend circles that came from, where I was in school, in my neighborhood, friends I made through ball and things like that. So a part of my friend circle where everyone was growing up and just doing something for themselves, that made me kind of mature and was like, okay, like it's more to just than what I'm seeing right now. You know what I mean? So if I can see it from a different perspective, that'll get me over the top. You know what I mean? So I think for me, that was just one of those moments where, just being in that friend circle, it doesn't have to be every day. Yes. Whenever you just like, when you're around that circle, you try to just take in those moments, you know what I mean? And see what people are talking about, see how people are moving. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you gotta look within yourself, like how they're moving. Am I moving like that and am I moving accordingly? Or am I just stagnant right now and I'm just doing nothing with my life? That's what kind of got me over the top, kind of oversee that. And not to look at it the same way I was always looking at it when I was growing up as a kid. So yeah.
No, you know what? I get that. Yeah. And I appreciate that. So what was your outlet? Like obviously growing up in the ends and not ends, but your ends to just deal with whatever else. There was something I know you hooped. Yeah. Right? So like how was hooping where you in your school? Like what was it like? Did you hoop outside of school? Were you in any programs? Like how far did ball take you?
Honestly, growing up in Jellyfish, ball was always around. Yeah. But it was always growing up with like the hood guys, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And crazy story, like growing up, I was Beanie's coach. Well, now they call him Presser. Okay. So I was growing up coaching Presser and all these guys. So all I knew was just house league, coaching Presser and all these rappers, like, you know what I mean? So, but growing up, it was like, what am I doing for myself? So, there's basketball, there's programs. We had a program called Revolution. And we had all the guys that were hooping on there. Even Jordan Manners, rest in peace. The CWF shooting. Yeah, man, that team was amazing, man. So we had that. But the one thing that really, really just kept me going, because my love for ball wasn't always there. Right? It was just one of those ones like, you know what? Everybody's doing it in the hood. Let me just play ball too. That's all I know. It makes me fit in. So we had these guys just hooping and stuff like that. High school, I'll never forget, the grade 9 team, I didn't make the team. I was like, what? The grade 10 team? Yeah, I was, jeez, bro, what? Yeah, it's a grade 9 team, I didn't make it. That's every great NBA player story. And then, SGA, grade 10, I ended up making the team. And Coach Phillips, who's like a mentor and like a second father to me, man. Everybody knows him. Terrence Phillips, man. Scarborough, man. He really got me to fall in love with basketball. And I felt like I was a Scarborough youth at heart because I was traveling from Jane and Finch. It was me, my sister, my brother, and a couple other people traveling Jane and Finch all the way to Scarborough. Javon Miles was like our trainer at the time. He was a GOAT at Pickering. So
Shout out Javon.
yeah, shout out Javon, man. He was just training us. And that's what got me really into like basketball. So it was like just being able to be around, you know, that space was a lot different. I felt like people from Scarborough were just, they honed in on what they would love.
Yeah.
And basketball in Scarborough is just different in the West End. I'm sorry, bro. No hate to the West End, but I felt like Scarborough was just different when it comes to basketball, bro. And I just fell in love with basketball even more because those guys were like dogs, bro, in the gym, bro. They train you inside and out, you know what I mean? Shout out Coach Huggy because like he was there too as well. So yeah, man, that was pretty much it. So yeah.
So then, from your experience of, I mean, working with and training some pretty, I mean, it's pretty dope to say that you were able to work with Pressa, even young Pressa or, you know, RP Jordan Manners and like work with some pretty elite coaches and stuff. So now, you know, we don't do police foundation, we don't finish, we don't deal with that. We've done the basketball stuff. Now you're in your adult life. And then what do we pick up from there? Like, what's the next steps?
The next step is really just me figuring it out. And when I say figuring it out, man, I was like 2 years like deep trying to get into policing. Trying to get into policing, man. And just honestly, at that time, it was just more so trying to find a job too as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, high school, I was working at the golf course. Did that. And then obviously, in my adult life, I was like, what am I going to do? So I applied for a job at the airport.
Okay.
Bags, lifting bags, throwing bags, slugging bags. When my back was everything was hurting. But I will say this though, like throwing bags, bro. My back is nice right now, bro. No, my back is nice, man. But really just working at the airport, and I've been doing that since 2012. And you know, obviously as the years goes on, I don't end up lifting bags. I end up working like behind the office.
Okay.
So things like that. So yeah, I can't slug bags like these guys do when they're 50 years old. I see guys do it 50 years old, man.
Or you guys just gotta do, bro.
Yeah, 100%. And other than that, it was just more so just like, you know, just trying to find myself, man. And at that time, I don't know if I was 23, 24, I'm not too sure. My love for basketball dropped.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just more like just following the NBA and just whenever I can watch the game, just watch the game. It just dropped. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, just figuring it out, man, as life goes on, man. Yeah.
And then, as life goes on, you figure it out. And then when I meet you, you are now working for a tycoon of basketball and social media. This is during around like COVID time. So like getting your highlights on this page is everything. And being associated with this page is everything. And you were, in the city, to me at least, was Mr. I mean, you can say the company's name. I don't know what I've always said. You can say the company's name first.
Yeah, it was a lot of us. It wasn't just me at the beginning. Crazy story how I got that job.
Wait, before you say the company name. I didn't say the company name. I want you to intro the company name so that they could know.
For those that don't know, it was Overtime. So Overtime Basketball.
Shout out Overtime Basketball.
Shout out Overtime. You come through the building. Big O.
Shout out Big O, man.
Yes, sir. Big O. It's crazy how I got that job. Honestly, man, I was a fan of Overtime before. Oh man, I got this job and I was just like following them, like, man, you got the next ESPN, but better, right? So, I remember back in the day, Overtime used to troll. We used to make fun of people. You're in the DMs, you talking shit? I bet we can get back at you, yo. So crazy story how I got into that was they put out a story and they said, hey, anybody want to work for Overtime or film for Overtime? I was like, let me just try, man. I have nothing to lose, right? So I hit him up with DMs like, yo, I'm down. I'm interested, man. I'm in Canada. They sent me a DM back with an application to fill out. And low key, I felt like they were trolling too at that time because like they were a big troll back then. And then I applied, ended up getting the job. I heard back from, shout out Chloe. I heard back from Chloe, who is now doing her thing right now. I'm not sure. She does Together. Okay. And she does Unrivaled. She's part of Unrivaled.
Oh, that's Unrivaled is so tough.
Shout out Chloe big time, man, because she was the first person to hit me up. Did that. She hit me up. She's like, hey, man, when you down for an interview? And I think it was like December.
Chloe's the blonde thing, right?
Sorry?
The white blonde, what are we talking about?
The who?
Chloe, she's the white blonde girl?
No, light skin.
Okay. I think about a different one. Okay. Keep on.
Yeah. When you search up, you'll know, man. So yeah, I did that. she hit me up. She's like, "Yo, let's do an interview." I'm like, "Okay, bet, we'll do an interview." And then it became about like Cheyenne D. Wilson, Natasha Lattimore, Elijah Fisher, and those were the three primary athletes in Canada that were like really doing it. So my job was just to go and just film. So at first I was just a filmer, go with the iPhone, film games and things like that. And then COVID comes around, and prior to COVID, I was working under, I wouldn't say working under, but like I was working alongside Case from Scarborough, who's the Keels boy.
Yeah, shout out Case.
Yeah, shout out Case for real, bro. That guy really held it down for Overtime Canada.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
So I ended up filming for Overtime and Overtime Canada. Going to New York sometimes just film Shy and Natasha Lattimore just doing their thing. And then COVID came around. So COVID comes around, that period.
Yeah.
That period. Understandable, the account is just dry right now. Nobody knows what's going on. They're like, yo, what's called Overtime Canada, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, maybe it's time to get stuff active and running again. So I sent them a couple clips. I'm like, yo, guys, is there any way we can get this active, get this up posted and things like that? And then Tom Weinhardt, who is the, I want to say like the social media head of Overtime, he's like, yo, you want to run the account? I think it was Thomas. I can't remember. One of the two. They're like, you want to run the account? I'm like, yeah, I'm down to run the account.
That's
yeah.
fire.
So yo, just became that guy, bro. I just became that guy, just run the account, man. And at first I was so good. I'm like, yo, I'm that guy running the account. Yo, this shit about to get lit, bro. So it's just all about like just posting a couple times a day, a couple stories, trying to engage with the community.
Of course.
Reading DMs. And at that time I was like, yo, this is kind of fun. But in the process, I'm like, yo, it's deeper than just running the account. You're really engaging with the community for real, for real. You know what I mean? Not just Ontario, because at that time everyone was like, yo, Overtime is just Ontario. Nah, bro, it's more than that. All these kids are trying to like reach out and things like that. And I won't lie to you. In the beginning, it was just Overtime Ontario. That's what I was being told. I said, yo, after COVID, let me change the game. So I started flying on my own accord. BC, going to cities like Winnipeg, Montreal, Halifax, Saskatoon. Some cities you never heard of, bro. Trying to just go out and just find these kids, bro, and just trying to like highlight their game. And that's what I did. And honestly, I fell in love with it, bro. Fell in love with it, man, and then I never looked back. But obviously, as most people know, as of January, February, I stopped working Overtime. We went our separate ways, respectfully. Yeah. And shout out to those guys, man. They gave me something to love and die for, bro. And I'll never take that for granted at all. So shout out to the guys at Overtime in New York, Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Shout out Big O, man.
Shout out Big O.
But also, Rich, like, question for you, like, obviously, maybe at the time, obviously now you know, but maybe at the time when you were granted access to the account as the sole owner, obviously there's a lot of influence. Like you're able to dictate obviously what you show, but also the messaging that you want the masses to consume, right? Did you realize how much influence that you had at the time when you were doing this, and how any content that comes from you dictates what content looks like at a time where social media was the only thing for everybody because you couldn't go outside?
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I never ever looked at myself as, yo, I'm that guy, or yo, I have such an influence. It's crazy to say, because like when you're in the position, or maybe it's just each his own. Because for me, it was like I met so many celebrities and met so many people of like iconic figures that to me it was just like you're a regular person to me. So to me, like when I was traveling to all these different cities, like, and one thing I noticed is like in Ontario, you're just a guy. You're not that guy, but you're just a guy. Like not in the sense where like, yo, like people go crazy over you, bro. But I'm more in the sense like, oh, you're just a regular person. You know what I mean? So there wasn't that like hype or whatever. So when I walk into a gym, it was just like, oh, you're OT Rich, bro. Yo, what up, bro? But man, when I go to Vancouver or BC, the love is crazy, bro. The love is crazy. And for me, it was a little bit weird and a little bit awkward. Because I'm not the type of guy where like I like that attention. Yeah. But for me, it was just like I was appreciative of it. You know what I mean? And I didn't realize how much of an influence I had on all these kids. And I'm like, some of these kids know me. I'm like, what? Because I don't ever let myself know, like, yo, I run Overtime. Yeah. Right? I've probably done a couple of reels where like, yo, like I'm pulling up to certain cities. But, you know, I'll probably in the comments, everything I post, or a majority of the stuff I post, I'll be in the comments, you know, trying to just, you know, back that post that I'm talking about. Yeah. So, you know, going to these cities and having these kids like, yo, Overtime Rich, or yo, Overtime this, that. Like, I was grateful for it, don't get me wrong. It's a little bit weird, but that made me realize, yo, how much influence I had on all these kids. So I had to make sure, like, at that time my IG account was open. My stuff's private now. Where I had to be meticulous of what I post.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I'm not influencing guys our age or like high school kids. I'm influencing the next generation. I'm talking about the grade 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Yes.
So when you ask like if I was weary of like or aware of like the influence I had, nah, I was not aware, man. Until I started going through these different cities. But when I'm back in Ontario, it's like I just feel like home. So I can just feel like I can just just move through the crowd and nobody's really like giving me that much attention.
Mm-hmm.
Which I like. I don't really mind it. You know what I mean? So yeah.
No, I think it's dope. Like when you really think about, especially during the time during like COVID, I want to speak about that very specifically. But like during that time in COVID, when social media, like you mentioned, was literally everything, and like getting on that page for even a moment changed things because very very quick pivot. When I was working with Playground or working with Playground, one of the things we were very conscious of was getting onto overtime. So like talking to Kat, talking to this guy, like it was important for us because you needed that. There's only so much ads you could have bought on Google to get it where you wanted to get to. Because like you mentioned, the people that you want to reach are the younger and the people who are younger than that. So you want to make this look like this is the place we have to be at. And that's what Rich is providing at the time. Like this is where you want to be, this is where you want to post. So to his point when he's like, I'm flying to BC and I'm doing this, I'm meeting these people, because now you're providing a service that they never thought was available to them at that time. I know in the midst of it, you're thinking like, oh yeah, it's calm, brothers. Yeah, that uncle's tough. Like, yeah, that's up. Don't worry about it. It's in the stories, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But to that kid, is like, that might have changed.
Oh, 100
You know what I'm saying? That one moment might have changed everything.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bro, I mean, separate from all of us. Think about the time when Zion was playing in that gym, and then John Morant was in the gym across from them, and it was like, there's a kid in the gym across from them going nuts. And they went and they found John Morant.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of stuff that you were providing at that time. It's all it takes. All it takes.
For sure.
So, big up to yourself for what you've done in the community and basketball. Like, let's,
shout out Richmond.
Yeah, shout out Rich, bro. Big up yourself for what you've done, bro. I think that's tough. So now, before we pivot into like more of stuff we want to get into naturally, so now that you're beyond that point of the social media with just over time you're doing your own thing. Like, so now, what are some of your focuses and stuff you're onto now?
Honestly, in the future, right now, like even right now, like I'm trying to just see if I can like help, certain content creators.
Okay.
One of the biggest things forget Canada, man. One of the biggest things in Ontario, forget Ontario. One of the biggest things in Toronto, man, is that nobody supports nobody, bro. Nobody. I know this keeps being said, and it's nobody. And it's the same thing in the UK too. That's one thing I noticed. In the UK, nobody supports nobody.
I've heard.
So Toronto is like one of those. It's like a sister city to the UK, aside from New York. Nobody supports nobody, bro. And I want to change that because it's like you have some of these OGs that look down to the young guys, try to help them out, but they try to take 90% of the game, 10% for the young guys. And my thing is where I have a full-time job. I'm not going to tell you what my full-time job is. Those that know, if you know, you know. And it's like, I'm good off that full-time job. I would love a second one too as well. You can't survive off one income in Toronto. So with that being said, I want to help out some content creators find ways to build themselves up, because I already know the tools in the game that you need to expand your platform. You know what I mean? Yeah, what you might be doing is great. You rock with me, I promise you, I'll probably help you. I will help you take it to the next level. I'm doing this for free, man.
Oh, for the love.
For love and for free, that. Bro. You know what I mean?
Like, you,
don't get me wrong. Like, at the end of the day, I'll love some money out of it. You know what I mean? So, say for example, I'm maybe to get somebody a gig or whatever, and I'll say this Showtime situation when we've been that Canadian tour. Somebody hit me up for a pod or whatever, and he was just up and coming. Like, yo, maybe there's an opportunity to make sure you're straight, and then I'll take a little 5%, 10%, whatever the case is. You know what I mean? So, but then again, it's like I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to gain from it, but to see people succeed. It might be hard to believe because we're the city we live in, but if you can succeed, man, then it's like power to you. You know what I mean? Now, whatever you learn from what I'm telling you, hopefully you can mass spread that to whoever tries to rob you, tries to come under your wing. You know what I mean? So that's all it is to it. And I hope people in the city can really, really, really find it in their heart to just stop gatekeeping and to just Share what you know. Be like the New York. Be like the LA. Like when you go to those cities, when people hear like, yo, bro, you got something? Yo, bro, yo, rock with me. Yo, this is my IG. Yo, this is my YouTube. This my that. This my that. But you don't do that in Toronto. People in Toronto, you pull up to say a gym, and it's like, alright, you're fine. You good? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, bro. You just keep moving.
Rich, why do you think that is in this city? Why do you think that is? Why is gatekeeping and being, for lack of a better term, why is Toronto such a crab bucket where you prevent people from going above by clawing them down? And it's a never-ending cycle of gatekeeping, information withholding. No one wants to see anyone succeed.
Selfishness, bro. Selfish. And it's great to be selfish, but like selfish, bro, for the wrong reasons, bro. You know what I mean? And it's like, if I have something going on and I don't show you, it's because I want it all for myself. I want to be that guy, bro. Everybody wants to be that guy. Everybody wants to be that girl. You know what I mean? But it's like, you can be that girl and that guy only for so long. Really think about it. If you want to deep dive and hone into like who used to be that guy, who used to be that girl, where are they at now?
And it's like an old proverb. It goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you go together.
100%.
And I find it, I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I don't understand like why people withhold so many things within the city for the sake of one-upping. It's insane.
Makes no sense, bro. It makes no sense. And you know, I find that in the creative world too as well in Toronto. Like when I was in New York, we did there's a event, She Got Game in Washington.
Yeah.
For the girls. And I met so many people like that were creators and just doing their own thing. And they're like, yo, like, wow, can you take this? Blah blah blah. It's my info. Next time you come out here, I'm gonna rock with you. You know what I mean? But like Toronto is like, you got creative gangs out there, bro. Like one creative gang won't rock with this creative gang. You know what I mean? And it's like, come on now. You know what I mean? But now I started to see a change. Yeah. There's a lot of creatives out there that are like doing their thing and they're not essentially gatekeeping. And the only person I can think off the top of my head is Creator Chris. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, shout out Creator Chris.
Shout out Chris, man.
100%.
Shout out Chris, man.
Yo, I know some people that dogged him, bro. Dogged him, treat him like garbage. Yeah. And when he left Canada and he was doing his thing, all of a sudden people want to come back. Like he's a queen bee or something. They want to build a hive around him, bro. Crazy, bro. The city is disgusting, bro. It's a good city, but man, when it comes to like, you know, trying to like share the knowledge and, you know, the insight and wisdom, everybody, a lot of people are gatekeepers, bro. If you're not that guy, if you don't have 10K followers, yeah, you ain't nothing, bro.
I can't specifically speak to like the creative side of Toronto, like what that looks like. I'll leave that for him, so I won't put any pushback. But I can say there are a lot of instances where I've looked for information like throughout my professional life, and it was very much like, it's like why would you hold information if we could all just share the information? And I've said this on other podcasts and platforms, and I've said this to bigger people older than you and I. You know what I mean? They're like, yo, why would you share information? Like, that's the issue that I'm having. But I think that's more of like a young person thing. And my only retort to anything, what both of you guys are saying, is that I feel like sometimes when you're coming up as predominantly immigrants who are doing things that we're doing, it's very tough to go out there like, I'm going to share this, because you never know what you'll get back in return. And I feel like a lot of people have that mindset. Like, it's not necessarily like I don't want to give the person information. It's like, I just don't know if I give the person information, what's going to happen next. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gets tough for people who are older than us. I don't agree with it, by the way. I'm on your guys' side of it. However, I can see, because I've seen and I had a conversation with other people who are like, it was just tough. Like, if you look at like the drug era, for example, if everybody went out and gave everyone the same cut of whatever they were selling, everyone sold the same price, nobody would make money. That was a problem. Yeah. And that's where that kind of mindset comes from. Not the drug mindset, but in general, like mindset is, if I give everyone the same product and we all cut the same way, we're all gonna make the same amount. But if we all make the same amount, no one's really make money. And that's what people, I only think that's only tug and pull. Again, I don't want to get into like the back and forth because it's not really that important, but I just want to give another perspective on the side of it because I'd be remiss not to. Okay. So now we get it. So now you're doing that. You work with other content creators. Big up yourself on that, bro. Keep doing what you do. I think it's lovely.
I do want to shout out one person.
Please, it's yours.
Yo, shout out K Showtime right now.
Yeah.
Shout out K Showtime. What's in the Philippines, by the way?
Yo, the guy's doing this thing in the Philippines. I met up with him in the Philippines. That was pretty dope to see him do his thing there.
This guy's traveling the world.
Yeah. I've been traveling, bro.
Globetrotter Rich.
Yeah, he went to Thailand, and then, yo, shout out K Showtime because, yo, before he left, and even while he was on tour, he was putting people on, bro. Like, K Showtime's the only creative person I know in the city right now that's putting people on. Nobody talks about this thing, though. You know what I mean? he brought Ballers Life to Toronto.
Yeah.
Ballers Life didn't just come to Toronto because they wanted to come to Toronto. That was all K Showtime. You know what I mean? And then K Showtime had this thing where like, he was putting other creators. I forgot what it was, but there was an event where like he was putting other creators on, things like that. And I really want to give K Showtime his flowers because his flowers are not given much enough. So K Showtime, you're seeing this, bro? Shout out you, broski. No glaze. But you really be putting people on the city, bro. And keep doing it, man. We need more of that. So, yeah.
Salute to K Showtime, man. That's a good brother. I met K Showtime a couple times, brother. Hooping and stuff. Very, very pleasant person. I don't have the same retort you might have. Anyways, enough of that. Now we'll dive deep back into Rich and who he is. And one of the things that you mentioned was that when you were doing the police foundation, you're looking into that. One of the reasons why you may not have gotten chosen was something that you want to share. And I would like to give you the platform to speak on it as openly as you would like to.
For sure. It was several factors, and I think the two main factors which I'll dive into the first one. The first one, which is not the main factor. I did an interview with Durham Police. So that interview, the one question they asked me was if I've ever seen cocaine.
Okay.
And you know what? I've never seen cocaine in my life. I've seen it in the movies, but I don't know if that's real or not.
Yeah.
So I had a female interviewer and a male interviewer in the room with me at the time. Don't get me wrong, that was nervous as hell. Because now I'm thinking back to my youth days growing up in Jane Finch. Like, I already know I'm being prejudged. You know what I mean? So it was like, I'm sitting in that room and, you know what I mean? I see people of like different ethnicities, but I will be real, I seen a lot of people of non-POC in that room. But you know what? Durham Police is very diverse when it comes to hiring. So, you know, they do their thing. But I was sitting in that room and then she asked me, like, have you ever seen cocaine in your life? And I said, no. And I hesitated because I'm like, wait, have I seen cocaine? I don't know. I've probably seen it on the movies or something like that. And then they asked me several questions after that. And then from there, they concluded and said, like, yeah, basically, the girl told me, like, you can tell me something's wrong. I mean, I feel like you're not being truthful. So we're not gonna move forward with the process.
Oh wow.
That crushed me, bro.
Right then and there?
Right then and there.
I did not think that's
Not even an email after or call after. Hi, Rich.
Right then and there.
Damn.
Right then and there. And that's supposed to show you how strict the policing application is. Because you do that, you got interviews, and then there's like background interviews, and then there's they interview like your exes or like people that you've hung around with. They deep dive into your personal life. Something you think you're hiding, they're gonna find out 100%.
Yeah, they still hire people every day. Anyways, floor is yours. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. And so that was that. That kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, that hurt my heart, man. It's down to the core, down to the soul, man. So I kind of just gave up on a policing career, and then I tried again, maybe 2 years ago. And then while doing that and doing the process, you have tests to do that you have to do in order to be qualified to apply for policing or to even be considered, which is an eye test and a hearing test. So my eye test, I apply with flying colors, man. I can see through your soul. Real talk. But with the hearing now I failed that part, and that's because I suffer from hearing loss, and I've had hearing loss since I was born.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
At that time it was considered severe, but as I was growing up, that severe back then wasn't severe as it is now. So working at the airport, like I mentioned before, was, lifting bags and things like that. I was so young, man. I was like, yo, that guy working at the airport, this guy cool. So the personal protective equipment that they issue you, PPE, yeah, they don't give you, the hearing stuff, they don't even give you that. I mean, they give you that, my bad, they give you that, but I wasn't even wearing that. So I was that type of guy, I'm cool on the ramp, working with planes, got headphones on, and sometimes I wouldn't even wear it. I was just so naive, I was so young, you know what I mean? Just excited to be around planes and things like that, pushing back planes and things like that, you know what I mean? So not knowing that, like, as the year goes on, I already have this issue with my hearing. I'm only damaging it more now. So I have hearing loss in my left and my right ear.
Oh.
Yep. So my right ear, I'm not sure, I haven't checked my results again, but one of the ears are more severe than the other.
Okay.
I believe it's my right or left or vice versa, whatever the case is. So I took it upon myself, and I'm like, I was even talking to my mom, like, yo, we gotta take this serious now, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting to my, I really want to get to policing. So I did a couple tests with one doctor. One doctor should have told me, you will never ever get a job in policing. Why are you here? She told me that.
Damn.
Why are you here? You will never ever get a job in policing. Your hearing is terrible. So then I left, And I said, you know, I'm not gonna just take one advice from somebody. I really want to get this thing, get this. So I did another test for somebody. I failed without the hearing aids. I ended up buying hearing aids that cost like $5,000 each, one each here. As a matter of fact, I am hearing one right now on my right ear. So I wear that when I'm at work, but outside of work, I just, you know, I don't need to wear it because like certain conversations, I don't even put myself into that. Yeah, I just don't. It's just part of when it comes with hearing loss. So when I see my hearing results without the hearing aid, I'm like, yo, damn, like, I'm better getting a shot. I did the test with the hearing aids. I ended up applying with Peel Police, and there was a black guy there, and you know, they always want to see like people of color, you know, try to succeed. That's one thing about policing. They'll try to get you to succeed. They want you to succeed, right? So now I did my test with the hearing aids and I sent it in, and then I'm waiting to hear back. I never heard back. So I don't know if right now if it was because of my hearing results without the hearing aid, or if it was my hearing results with the hearing aid. Because I was told that the hearing results with my hearing aid, I'm good enough just then.
Yeah.
And it still discourages me. And nowadays, I sometimes find myself just walking around and talking to police officers, and I know a couple of them. And I was asking like, "Yo, like, are there police officers on the force that wear hearing aids?" They're like, "Yeah, but not before when they got hired." Sometimes you do the gun test and things like that. So it's like that puts detrimental damage to your ear. So then they eventually wear hearing aids on the job, but you gotta have good hearing before you apply policing. And to cap that off, it makes sense because imagine you going to work as a police officer and I'm your partner and I can't hear a suspect coming from around the corner. And all of a sudden, that's your life because I couldn't hear.
Logically.
You know what I mean? So I was so naive, but then I just put two and two together. It's part of maturity as you grow up. Find something else to do. Life is not over. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I think, Rich, like you mentioned earlier, like you were still in the early stages of your life. You were still finding yourself, right? Is that still the case now?
A part of me wants to say, no, it's not the case. But the reality is that is the case. And that's the case every day. Whether I'm content, whether I'm happy, whether I'm wealthy, whether I'm rich, whether I'm just trying to really make it day by day. That's life. You know what I mean? So I would say I'm figuring things out as they go. And that's just being real. You know what I mean? Anybody that tells you they're not figuring things out as they go is lying. There's no way. There is no way. Even the rich trying to figure out what the next thing is. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with life right now.
And my final question for you, on the topic of the hearing loss and going through that, like as a child and an adolescent, like what difficulties would you say you ran into? Because you really kind of glossed over the fact, like, you know, you kind of went through it, but if you haven't listened, I guess, from birth, like, what are some of the difficulties aside from being difficult to hear? Like, did it affect you in schooling? Like, did you find it? Because you got your hearing aids when?
Probably like when I was in grade 3.
Okay, yeah. So like from then on, like how was the process? How was it adapting to it? Like honestly, any challenges you're comfortable sharing?
It was honestly like I feel like an outcast. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I got bullied, but I'm not gonna lie to you too as well. Growing up, like elementary days, like we're young kids, so like you don't really like nobody's really bullying anybody. You know what I mean? I think it hit me when I was in grade 6, 7, 8. And people like 5, 6, 7, 8, and people are just like, yo, certain people like, yo, deaf kid, yo, can you hear me? You know what I mean? Like, wow. Hearing deaf kid or like, yo, can you hear me? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, that really made me feel insecure about myself. It was like, I got a disability, right? And technically, disability comes in many forms, you know what I mean? So I was like, damn, I got a disability, and like, really, people are making fun of me, like, I'm trying to fit in. And at that time, I was just that guy, really trying to fit in. Grade 5 all the way to grade 9. I was just that kid just trying to fit in. Everybody else fit in a perfect way. Like, you got guys that were like, talking to girls and getting girls. You got guys that were just cool, you know what I mean? Things like that. And it was like, I was never, ever that person, you know what I mean? But the one thing I will take away from being in grade 5 that like made me love wearing the hearing aids, at the time I was wearing like the over-the-ear hearing aids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then at the time the teacher would speak, so she would wear a microphone, I would hear her speak. This teacher, God bless her soul, I don't know if she's alive to this day. One of my classmates got in trouble, and he was talking to the parent or the kid outside in the hallway, and I heard everything. I heard everything. And because I was telling the kids, like, yo, I can hear everything. And then they came up to me, like, yo, at that time, that's probably the only time I felt like a cool person from grade 5 to 9, where I was like, yo, people really rock with me through this. I can hear something. I felt like a superpower to have, you know what I mean? So,
the microphone.
yeah, you know what I mean? And at that point, I was like, maybe hearing aids aren't bad, you know what I mean? I'm just wear it because I have to wear it. It helps me be productive in life. And, you know, after high school, I stopped wearing it. I just completely stopped wearing it. Grade 10 to 12, I stopped wearing it because I was like, I want to try to fit in. And at that time, after grade 12, I stopped wearing hearing aids, period. And you can tell, like, I'll always say, huh. And when it came time when I was doing my job, where I worked downtown, in the office, I had to wear it, you know what I mean? And, you know, it brought me back to, like, my childhood. I'm like, yo, it's kind of hurts. Like, yo, I feel like I'm going to be made fun of and things like that. People might tease around at work and stuff like that, but you laugh through pain. So I make jokes out of my pain, and now my pain isn't pain no more because my pain was already pain from when I was in grade 3. So I learned to live with that pain. And now sometimes I just joke where I even make fun of my own hearing. I can't hear nothing. If you saying something to me and I'm not really trying to hear you, and the things you're telling me is fugazi, yeah, I got hearing now. Sorry, I can't hear you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Rich, what kind of advice would you give to those who are not necessarily afraid, but to those who maybe are afraid to seek support simply because of their insecurities? Like, what are some things that you could share that you faced throughout your own childhood, throughout your own adolescence, to individuals who maybe have never found that voice for themselves because it's always drowning by the people who are teasing them, bullying them, etc., etc.
Yeah, you know what? I'll back in my time, like you know, social media wasn't really crazy. So if that was the case, I would say talk to somebody that understands. You know what I mean? Someone that isn't gonna judge you. But I'm not gonna lie, it is you put the work in, they put the work in. Because you gotta put the work in to find out who you can trust and who you can open up to.
Yeah.
And then the other work is, you know, the person you open up to and listen to what they're saying. Take in what they're saying. Don't just listen to listen. Listen to what they're saying and then use whatever you can. You can't use everything, but use whatever you can to kind of motivate you, to inspire you, to make you feel comfortable in what it is you're uncomfortable with. You know what I mean? And now that we have social media nowadays, sometimes you may not find your OG or that one person that you can look up to and just be like, hey, listen, this is what I'm going through. Can I talk to you? YouTube might be the answer. You know what I mean? Social media might be the answer, right?
Fair.
Right? And mental health too as well is a big thing too. Yeah. So it's like the resources you have are literally at your hands. We can say that now. Back then we used to say it, but the resources are literally at your hands. Type what makes you fear, listen to what they're talking about, your fear, and then at the end result, own your fear. That's all it is. Just own your fear. That's it.
No, you know what? I think, first of all, I think it's profound. And thank you for sharing that with us and being so open and all that. I think I'm going to call it an episode at this point. So if you made it this far, thank you for listening. Rich, anything you want to plug before we go? You want to plug your IG? You want to plug anything in your side? You want to plug any of the content creators you work with?
Right now, honestly, I just became private on IG for personal reasons.
Say that.
So keep it like that. But if you end up finding me on IG, it's just Rich. Just type it in, you'll find it anyways. Just because it'll be an algorithm works. Other than that, if you do see me in the streets of Toronto, like feel free to stop me, man. Like, talk to me. Like I'll give you insight for free. I'm not charging you. I'm giving you insight.
$1 million worth of
100%, 100p. I want to be that guy that's different, bro. You know what I mean? I want to be that guy that's impactful. And guys like Antweet. I want to be impactful as guys like Antweet, impactful as girls like Kiza. Like, those are two people from different genders that really just know what it is to be about community. Know what it is to just really just keep it real with you. Those are only two people I really rock with in this world right now. If I wanted to have a conversation, those are only two people. Anthony, Kiza. That's it.
Shout out Richmond.
Shout out Richmond. Thanks for coming on the episode. Again, if you make it this far, please comment comment, share, subscribe, likes, and then subscribe again on the fake account. We appreciate it. We need to subscribe. We made it. We're at above 100, so coming up for above 100.
Yo, let's get to 200 subs, yo. 200 subs.
We're just getting ready. Get 200 subs.
Break on break, bro.
Break on break. So, Rick, thank you for coming out again, bro. And peace and love, bro. Peace and love.
Sure.
Thank you so much.